welcome to the 11 Days of Global Unity After Party. I'm starting with a little piano, just tinkling on these ivories. And want to welcome you. We have a great lineup of people who are going to be speaking and playing music, singing. So I thought I would start with playing one of my favorite composers, George Gershwin. George Gershwin wrote so many wonderful things, as you know, like Summertime and so many, Porgy and Bess. But I wanted to play something from his Concerto in F to start my part here. Let's see if I can get the keyboard in here. And of course, Kermit is overseeing everything as usual. That's just a little excerpt from Gershwin's Concerto in F. And the next thing I'm going to play is from Horace Silver. It's his album Silver and Wood, jazz. I love jazz, probably the most of it, all the different kinds of music. Here we go. Okay, and one more. How are we doing on time? Okay. I love Stevie Wonder. I could play so many tunes from Stevie Wonder, but here's one for tonight and for what we're all doing. It's called I Wish. Get the keyboard happening here. Okay. So, thank you and welcome. Let's get this show on the road.
Or behind the scenes guy. He's like very quiet. Yeah.
Who,
Yeah.
who's talking? So, I know that Deborah Giusti has to leave soon, and I thought that maybe if you want to say a few words, we collaborated on the September 11th Saturday Night Live show. So it's great to have you at the after party for 11 Days of Global Unity, and you helped to kick it off. So thank you.
Totally.
And for people who may not have seen it yet, why don't you tell the whole story of the Saturday Night Alive?
Sure. And my partner Scott is here too.
Oh, is
And
that great?
yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Let's get you both up here.
So just like all of us coming together at this extraordinary time, you know, to show up in a bigger way and do our missions. Scott and I had been friends for 30 years, I think. And when COVID happened, we started doing a show to support one of our fellow musicians, and we realized how important it was to connect our tribe now all over the world. And so then we started bringing in incredible keynotes and musicians with really important themes that are really potent for these times, and sharing a lot of hope and good information, and not framing this as like everything's going to hell, you know, because it all looks so strange out there, that we're really in the birth canal of creating a new world. And we just looked at each other and recognized this soul contract to do this thing called Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And we've done 77 shows. And as it journeyed towards the Peace Weekend, we were so thrilled to have Rick come on and bring all his magic and really support him with Global Days, 11 Global Days of Unity. So that's kind of, and I've known Rick forever as well, and just kind of knowing what he does. And I've promoted him on my newsletters, Deb Recommends and Harmony Connects. But it's really at this time that life is calling us to come together at a major level and collaborate like we never have before, and get our medicine out globally. And so that's what the magic was, is myself and Scott working with Rick and supporting him and what he's doing, and put all our power of Saturday Night Alive. So we did a very special show on September 11th that honored the day of September 11th and the beginning of the 11 days. And it was just beautiful because he's a magical man, as you know. So it was fun and easy and came together really well and really powerful. We had a lot of people joining us on that day. Scott, do you want to share?
Yeah. Well, first of all, welcome everybody. I feel honored that Deborah and I get to kind of kick things off after Rick's wonderful music. Just want to honor, acknowledge each and every one of you. Each of us is playing our role. And I always like to talk about the analogy that, you know, the old paradigm is the caterpillar that's dying, and death is awkward and it's crunchy and it's uncomfortable. But we are the imaginal cells, and we're finding ourselves, we're finding each other. And when enough imaginal cells find each other, we come together and we create the butterfly. And I absolutely believe that's what's happening. And so really appreciating all of you, because you're all important imaginal cells and what's becoming this butterfly. And of course, a big thank you to Deborah, Rick, Ben Bowler, and the people that are organizing these really big events. But, you know, whether you're a big organizer like Rick or Ben, every single person here has their job, their role to play. And you know what? Some people's role to play right now might be just to rest, might be to wait for, you know, the next set of marching orders from above, right? So let's not judge or compare. Let's just every morning tune in. What do I need to do today? How do I create peace in my world today? How do I create peace in my relationships today? And I guess the last thing I just want to say is that I'm painfully aware of how radically different strategies there are for dealing with the pandemic. And no matter which side you're on for vaccination or not vaccination, let's not judge whoever has a different belief. Let's not fall into that polarization. Let's work extra hard to create peace in our world by doing our best to accept and understand people that have radically different beliefs, because that's how we can create peace in our immediate world. And that's a good starting point. So since we're all about peace and celebrating peace, I wanted to put that out to everybody. And thank you, Rick, for pulling this together. And it's beautiful to see so many of our friends, Connie and Andrew and Janice and many others with us.
Definitely. This is great. Great to see you both. And thank you so much for coming. I know you have a million things going on and you're about to go on a trip, right, Scott?
I'm on a trip, actually. I'm coming to you from Sacramento. And we, of course, are getting ready for this week's show. And actually, I just pulled it up because this week's Saturday Night Live is a celebration. We're celebrating the first 18 months of the show. We're going to have a lot of special guests dropping in, like Rick and Ben, and some of our favorite celebrities. We've got, as always, great live music with Cornflower and Johanna One-Heart, and just some really fun special surprises. So please, for all of our regulars, make sure you're there. And for anybody who hasn't checked out Saturday Night Live, this is a good one to come to get introduced to the work that we're doing.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, thank you both so much. And on with the show.
I love it.
So let's bring Jim on now, and we'll do a little welcome from Jim and Humanity Rising. How's that?
Thank you, Rick. And thank you, Scott and Deborah. Could not agree more. I would add just one note, which is one of the reasons why Humanity Rising and 11 Days have come together, is I think what's going to make the difference in whether the imaginal cells are successful in becoming a butterfly is whether the imaginal cells engage in radical collaboration or not. I think we're all in a situation, as we know, where we're in code red. We're in the tipping point now. And the progressive movement has to morph and change state as radically as the climate in order to make the difference necessary to ensure human survival and human abundance, which is what we all seek, whether it's Saturday Night Alive or 11 Days or We the World or Unity Week or Unify or Humanity Rising or Ubiquity. All of us share the same goals, but we don't cooperate with the intensity and proactive intention as I think we now need to. And one of the reasons why we partnered with Rick and Ben and John and so many others increasingly over the last year since the pandemic began is because we believe that only radical collaboration will suffice to see us all through. So over this past 11 days, we've been privileged and honored to co-sponsor and produce what has transpired. Now we're delighted to be part of the Afterparty, which is an opportunity for all of you to support us and give thanks for everything that we are collectively doing for a better world. So thank you, Rick, and welcome everyone. It's wonderful to be here.
And it's been such a wonderful collaboration with Humanity Rising, Ubiquity University. Jim, do you want to say anything about these scholarships? It was such a remarkable thing for people, and you know we have branches in different parts of the world, and these people were just so thrilled to receive a scholarship in Burundi, in Rwanda, in Nigeria, in where were the other ones? I forget. But they were just, just thrilled. So yes, tell us about the whole scholarship
Well,
program.
thank you, Rick. Part of our collaboration is to work with the 11 Days and We the World team to pick a scholarship per day for either the Masters in Regenerative Action or the Masters in Tolerance and Peace Studies that is being offered not just by Ubiquity University, but Ubiquity University and literally scores of other organizations all over the world that have come together. So imagine a master's program that's designed as a Wikipedia, where it's not just one institution, but a multiplicity of institutions that are coming together to offer content, internships, supervision, mentoring for the impact projects, because the goal of both the MA programs is not some dissertation or thesis, but an actual impact project that's going to make a difference in the real world. So that's been our contribution. It's been our joy. And I have to say, the cadre of people that Rick and his team have selected are absolutely stellar. They're just stellar people. And we're very excited to bring that cohort into the university to be trained, both in terms of knowledge, but knowledge leading to action for a better world. Because Scott, you're right. We're all just imaginal cells, man.
Yeah, and each cell has its own, whether you're, a kidney cell or a brain cell, right? It's all part of the whole, and each and every one of us is equally important.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to be here, Rick.
Yeah, it's great, and the beat goes on, right? We have so many things coming up, and we'll talk more about like the Global Regeneration Corps and all kinds of things coming up. And today, besides celebrating all of this work, this great work that many of us are engaged in, this is also a benefit to support both Humanity Rising, Ubiquity University, and We the World. And Angel Fullerton, who is a key member, a core member, the Chief Operating Officer for We the World, do you want to come on and let people know how they can actually contribute as they're watching here? If you put your video on, where are you? Do we see Angel?
Angel's there.
Oh, you spotlight her?
I can't till she turns her video on.
Oh, yeah. So you have to turn your video on, Angel. Oh, there you are. Angel? Angels are very busy people in the world, as you know.
She's been doing a lot of background work there, Rick,
Right.
so
Okay.
she might be distracted.
Okay, so we'll come back to her, but I can.
Something bad happened. And
Nope. Okay.
I'm
So-
never going to be able to hold my baby girl again.
Now, the search is on for Laundry, who has disappeared.
What is that? Okay. Well, we'll come back to Angel once she is able to turn her video on. But I see that Kurt Johnson is on the line. And Kurt, you had a major role in 11 Days and all of the different things that's going on. Would you like to say a few words about what's going on for you? And you can also rename your screen. People I gave my link to are coming in under my name.
I can't tell where Kurt is, Rick.
Kurt is, well, he's,
Oh, I see him. Wait one
his-
second. I think I
his
found
vid-
him.
his video is not on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now you have to unmute.
Yeah, my apologies. I was actually getting another program from somewhere else, and then I don't know why I'm here under your name. I used the link that you sent me, so.
Yeah, it was my link. That's why
Oh,
it
okay.
has my name. But at least it's a direct link. So anyway, go ahead. So,
Well, obviously, Rick, we've been doing 11 Days of Unity for more than a decade, almost too. And it's amazing to see how it's grown from something that initially was really just within the UN wider community, which in itself was big enough and exciting, and that was wonderful. But now to see how, so many other networks, as networks have intertwined, particularly now in the COVID era, that it's really become something that's brought in so many other significant voices and tangential voices and additive value. So, congratulations to you and to everyone, and to see people here from all over the world. I mean, I see Alexander, who's from Argentina, and that's just even in the gallery view that I can see. And so that's just amazing. So congratulations, and I'm glad it's carrying on. I was just on submitting a Voice America package on the Earth Constitution with Glenn Martin and Laura George. That's why I had to get on late. But it just goes to show there's no end to this work. It's got a tentacle somewhere in the world all the time. And I'm just hoping that between everything that all of us are doing, I see Ben's on, and of course he does a million things, and I could go through the whole rest of the list. But, all of us just have to hope that this makes a difference, and that the conversations we're having and the energy that we're, boosting, somehow reaches the best of humanity and the best of our better angels relative to the directions that we take. So just a huge congratulations to everybody. I see Connie and Andrew on, Jim Garrison, Janice Hall. Oh my gosh. All of you guys are doing this all the time. Deborah Moldow, Richard Buckley, Deborah Gusti, on and on and on. So it's got to have an effect. So that's all I can say.
that's so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Kurt. And there's so many things that you're doing, and you had a wonderful panel also. Do you want to say anything about that? We had a panel on freedom and democracy.
Well, it was a panel from what's called the Bridging Circle in the Evolutionary Leaders, and Deborah is on from that group as well. And it's about bridging the consciousness divide in politics and worldview. It was formed right after January 6th. And that was an in-depth discussion, somewhat parochial about the predicament the United States is in, but in the context that, boy, it seems like on a global level, for some reason, our species is going toward believing counterfactual narratives, believing all kinds of bizarre views of reality, which then, of course, motivate aberrant behavior, and certainly behaviors that aren't helpful. And that leading then for so many people worldwide, odd as it may seem, to be valuing dictatorship and autocracy and charismatic leadership instead of just the fundamental values of democracy, Republican government, and what has been maybe the best that humanity could do relative to systems of governance, and how to allow the public voice to try to, to lead civil society. And I think, in the United States, and the information in the last 2 days about the 6-point plan that Trump and his allies had to walk through 6 steps of having a coup that would establish a dictatorship and overturn an election for the first time in the history, and that there were major senators who saw that plan. I would name names, but no need to here. And there's been no accountability. Certainly there's been this effort by the one political party to try to avoid any type of scrutiny of that. So I think we were trying to wake people up without going to hyperbole or conspiracy theory ourselves to the fact that for the first time in history since the Civil War, we obviously have a party in the United States who wants to move toward autocracy and dictatorship in order to preserve white supremacy, governance of the rich, and the power to the privileged. And it's just unprecedented. So to the extent that that's a mentality in the larger species, instead of welcoming in the world of we and the world of reciprocity and caring for all, then that's something that we just need to really be aware of. And that John Steiner, who's been doing that work for years, was on that program. Michael Wayne, who has a new book coming out on that predicament of governance in the United States, myself, and then Bob Atkinson. And so much of it was in the context of the heritage of Joseph Campbell, and really understanding how stories and narratives guide human behavior. And if those aren't stories that are positive and really appeal to the better angels in our behavior, it can get aberrant and then even dangerous very, very soon, as we saw with where Europe went in the 30s. Not only Europe, but East Asia in the 30s. So it's just a very critical time to be asking, as a member of this species, what is this tendency that we tend to be going toward? So not to say any more on that, since I've said enough, but just to have people wake up to that and the values of the wisdom traditions and the values of indigenous peoples. And wherever there's love, kindness, mutuality, reciprocity, balance, caring, and the better parts of our nature. So Rick, thank you for hosting that as the moderator, and actually having the idea that would be something we'd like to do.
Well, thank you, Kurt. And it is interesting to discuss, what's happening and look at this political situation. And it's also good to zoom out, as we always do, and look at the big picture. And talking about the big picture, I see we have Shannon Crossbear on. Would you like to talk about interdependence and all of the different things that you've been doing, Shannon?
Sure, you caught me right at a good time because I had to walk out. Let me back up. Anin minagijagad, divik Indue Maganak. I just wanted to greet you in my Ojibwe language to all my relatives and say good evening. My name is Shannon Crossbear, and I'm coming to you from the homelands of the Lake Superior Ojibwe. And so I'm a little out of breath. You can hear me because I just ran back inside after running across the road to the lake because the moon is rising. And it's right on the shore, and it's big, and it's orange, and it's beautiful. And so I had to go say good evening to our grandmother there. So it's been an amazing week, and watching all of the different things that happened around the 11 campaigns. And I tried to be as present as I could for as many as I could. And because I said I was going to be the champion for interdependence. And we can't talk about any one of these campaigns without it impacting the other campaigns. And of course, so looking at interdependence and being able to see all of the great work, but also to be able to see it from the vantage point of weaving it together in that beautiful tapestry that is us. that is we. And so yeah, it's been wonderful, Rick, to be able to do that. And on an ongoing basis, we continue to do that. We continue to grow. We continue to find ourselves in relationship with different disciplines and different all kinds of diversity, which is, you know, I always talk about, I live in the middle of the boreal forest, and I live with this land. And I look out every day and I see the beauty of the diversity that creates the boreal forest. And I try to imagine if I looked out my window and I saw nothing but birch trees. And birch trees are beautiful. But if I saw nothing but birch trees and I didn't see the balsam and the white pine and the tamarack and all the others that are there creating this beautiful biodiversity. And so reflecting that in everything that we do, as I have been listening intently to the talk about being at this point in time in terms of the code red, but also listening intently to where we can find examples of resiliency that we will be able to continue to tap into and to build upon as we face the coming times with our healing of our relationship with our earth and each other. So thanks for having me. And it's party time. And I like a party because I say praying and playing are basically the same word. Praying is when you do that with respect, and playing is when you pray with love. So let's all play together.
That sounds great. Thank you, Shannon Crossbear. And Shannon is always talking about how all of these 11 themes that came out of the 11 Days of Global Unity, and they include economic justice and environment and human rights and women and health and children and youth and disarmament, you know, all 11 of them, and peace, of course, unity and peace, how they are all interconnected. And each one is kind of like a lens to look at the whole with and look at all of them. So let's, and talking about whole systems, I wonder if we can go to Alexander Laszlo, who also plays flute. And actually, Alexander, I just wanted to let you know we're going to go to you in a moment, but I realize here that Angel has her video on. Do you want to just tell people how they can contribute as they're watching? You have something you can show, right?
Yes, I will share that really quick.
Okay.
Okay, can you see that on the screen?
Yes.
So we are using a new platform called Give Butter that we can do live events on and live donations. Anybody watching on Facebook that is not in the Zoom room, you can jump over there now if you want to, and you can still watch the live stream and chat and donate over there. Or you can text 11 days, that's the number 11 DAYS to phone number 202-858-1233 and do a direct donation to We the World. Or you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen if your phone has that capability. And if you use PayPal, you can go directly to we.net/give, and it will take you directly to our PayPal link.
Okay, and maybe you could put some of that in the chat also.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the phone, that phone number you mentioned and everything.
Yes.
Okay, well, we can leave that up for a moment if you want. And in honor of that, one of my messages is if I were a rich man, we wouldn't have to ask for money for all of the things that we're doing, right? So, we encourage you to make a donation. And if you can put that stuff in the chat, that would be great. So, why don't we go to Alexander and talk about the whole systems approach that you have, and maybe you can twinkle a little bit on the flute.
Lovely. And I also want to honor that David Wick and Janice Hall and Arkai also have their hands up, as has been also noted there. And I don't want to cut the line here, but I'd be happy to.
Okay. Shall we go to some of them?
As you wish, Rick, as you wish.
Yes. And since I'm in the middle of a million things, I may not see those hands. But anyway, Janice.
Akari has to go, so if we can have Akari perform.
Just real quickly.
Okay,
just
yes. Good
real
point.
quickly, all I wanted to say is that I didn't have my hand up. I was trying to find the heart to heart Shannon. So. And yeah, there wasn't one. I hit the hand by mistake. So.
I see. Okay.
Right.
And I'm so glad you reminded me. We have some wonderful performers. Do you mind, Alexander, if we go to them? They have a time limit.
Go for it.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. Do you want to just say who you are and what you're doing? And thank you for sharing your music with us.
Absolutely. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Philip.
And so we make up the violoncello duo Arkai. And so we performed on the Peace Day Youth Assembly yesterday. And, we were sharing our music with everybody there. And so we're just thrilled to be here sharing our music at this after party. And so hopefully we can bring some joy to your evening. And so we're going to start off
with a tune that's so new it doesn't even have a name yet.
So if you have any ideas, we'd love to see them in the chat.
All right, it's going to get wild though. Enjoy.
Wow.
We hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And again, if you have any inspiration for titles, we can really use all the help we can get.
I saw a couple come up in the chat.
Wow, that's all I can see. People are saying absolutely beautiful, absolutely tantalizing, just extraordinary. Thank you so much. Do you want to play another piece?
We can play one more
One
piece on our trusty old instruments. These are new age, but we also have
We were talking about kind of evolution and things coming together. So the electrics are the evolution, but there's nothing quite like the originals. So this is a tune that hopefully will be familiar to many of you, and something that captures some of the peace and the coming together that the last 11 days we're celebrating. So
not only talks about loss, it's quite a sad tune, but it also talks about love and a hopeful future as well. This is Danny Boy.
Wow.
Thank you all so much.
That was so fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a good gig or wherever you're going.
We're coming to you from New York City, so it's dinner time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and I don't know if anybody is wearing headphones. You know, their voices were in stereo. I don't know if you. I'm wearing headphones. If you have headphones on, one of their voices was on one headphone and one was on the other, and their music was a beautiful stereophonic mix. So they really had their act together. I think you're nodding your head, Alexander. You heard what I was talking about, right? So, Alexander, do you want to do anything now?
Alexander said, no way is he following these guys. We'll move him to the second section, Rick.
Well,
No, there's no way he's following those guys.
oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Even though you want to talk about, whole systems approach and everything, okay, we'll wait.
He's a smart man, Rick. I think you know that.
Okay, that sounds good. So you know what? So we'll come back to Alexander, but I see that Angelina in Botswana is with us, and she stayed up in the middle of the night to join us. So it's like 3 a.m. there. Angelina, would you like to say hello and anything else that you would like to share with people? And of course, your whole team in Botswana has been celebrating 11 days for years now. Is your video on? We have to find you.
Okay. Hi. Let me try and can you hear me?
Yes, can you put your video on?
Okay, let me try to do that. Let me look for a stable connection because it's windy.
Your sound sounds very good. There you are. Okay. I'm going to spotlight you.
All right. Okay, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And it's like 3, it's almost 3 in the morning where you are now?
Yes, 8 minutes to 3.
Well, thank you for getting up and joining our after party. And
it's a pleasure.
Yes, we've been celebrating you during the 11 days and your team, and I think we gave a scholarship to someone on your team as well, right?
Yes. Okay, that's better. Okay, I'm looking for where people can see my face.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You have better lighting than I do where I am. With the piano here.
Yeah, I love the performance. Yes, we got one of our team members, Abisha, got a scholarship from Ubiquity, and I also got a surprise scholarship during the presentation that we had.
Great. Fabulous.
Yes. So it's been an exciting journey. We're looking forward to growing and all the interactions and networking. I've also been getting messages from other organizations who are also looking forward to working with us. So it's just exciting. I don't have the right word to express the gratitude and the alignment that has been going on. I don't know if I could say it's like a dream come true. So yes, I couldn't miss this today. So I had to stay up and celebrate with everybody.
That is so wonderful. Thank you. And do you want to talk about that project that you've been working on called Unleashing the African potential, so people know some of the details of what you've been doing recently.
Okay. Unleashing the African Potential is a human development and community development program that runs for 12 weeks. We have the 12-week body, mind, and soul transformation. Okay. Oh, I was wondering what happened. The 12-week body, mind, and soul transformation. Then we have the basic entrepreneurship skills training, which is your basic sales and marketing, business planning, record keeping. Then the beneficiaries also get the opportunity to practice or more of ingrain what they've been learning through the program through practicals at a community garden. And the program is run in the rural community outside of Gaborone in Mopane Block 1. It's in the Gwening district. Yes.
All right, that's great. And anything else you would like to share with folks before we move on to other speakers and performers?
I'd just like to say that any form of support, technical, professional support that you can offer, we're open, and distance is not a barrier. You're welcome to collaborate and partner with us.
Exactly.
I just want to jump in here for a second, Rick, and say, Angelina, you are exactly the person we designed these scholarships for. And we are so happy that you are part of the university. And we really know that you're going to bring a lot to the program with all the other students. So I really appreciate you being part of our community.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Exactly. And you know, I also wanted people to know that you've gone through a lot lately in your community. Unfortunately, some members of your family got COVID, and then you got COVID, and your son got COVID, and you had to go through all of that. And it's so horrible, you know. Africa has received so few of the vaccinations, and it's just so horrible to hear about that, and just to see, you know, why this world is so it's so unequal. But this is what we're working on, right? This is what many of us are on this mission to change that. But I just want people to know that you had to go through that because of this, right?
Yes.
How's everybody doing
the
now?
whole family. We're all fine now. We've recovered and the kids are back to school. Unfortunately, we still haven't received vaccines. Only my parents have gotten their vaccines so far. I'm very far from the phase that they're at right now to getting vaccine. And a majority of other people have resorted to crossing the border to South Africa to try and get vaccines. And it seems to be working out for some of them. Some of them come back with reinfections and they still lose their lives. So it's a whole gamble. And despite all the challenges, no matter how depressing or painful it is to be going through something like this in your country and you don't know exactly where to look to or where to cry out to, you wake up every day and hope for a better day and hope that you'll get through the week and keep pushing, because you still have to make the world a better place for other people. You still have to stand in the gap. So, yes. and the fire won't stop burning. So you have to get out there and get the work done.
Get the work done, and it's
Yeah.
just so great to work with you. You said it was going on 6 years. That's mind blowing to me. But that's so wonderful. It's so great to be working with you all this time, and I can't wait to visit you at some point in Botswana. Wouldn't that be
Yes,
wonderful?
you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you here.
That sounds great. So, okay.
So, Rick, let's bring
Yes.
Alexander up. He's got his courage back to play. He just needed to catch his breath, so he's ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And I just also do want to then make sure that we're going to get David Wick, who also has had his hand up, and he's also waved a bit in a chat.
I told David he was next, Alexander.
Excellent.
So
Excellent. All right. Well,
Perfect.
I was thinking I was being smart there by saying, okay, I'm not going to follow the beautiful music that we had with the violin and the cello. I thought I was being smart, but now I'm seeing that anyone who I seek to follow, it's a very hard act to follow in any case. So, Angelina, thank you for all that you are doing, and I think this is what we're here to do, to celebrate each other. This truly is where we are, and this is the we in this, isn't it? This is where we are really making the change, shifting, moving the needle, because we're doing it together. I just noted that although we're talking about these 11 days of global unity, right? Yesterday was the International Day of Peace, right? And in my calendar, it says that today is the World Day of Planetary Ethics. But when I looked it up, it said that the Global Ethics Day, they didn't have the World Day of Planetary, it was 2 days ago on October 20th. But the point is that there's
September 20th.
September 20th, you sure? Because here I had mine saying, anyway, the point is there's so much going on now, right, Rick? I mean, these are the times when there is so much to celebrate, but it's not just a celebration without the respect, without the responsibility, without what Shannon was talking about, the pray and the play. This is bringing ourselves fully to the engagement. I also wanted to note here that at one point on my screen, there were no fewer than 8 Rick Ulfiks. Hey, how great is that? That's a wonderful thing to celebrate right there.
That's the new we, Alexander, is the Rick.
I feel there's a plethora of Rick Ulfiks, and that's wonderful to be surrounded by that.
It's going to be Rick the World.
Rick the World. You can rock the world with Rick the World. Absolutely. So
Well, I finally figured out how to clone myself. There you go.
Yeah, good. We need more of you. We need more of us. My friend and colleague Tom Attlee, who many of you know as well, this really great phrase. He's saying things are getting worse and worse and better, faster and faster. And this is the world we're living in right now. And to be able to think of it going in all, as Scott was saying at the beginning, tolerance, acceptance, inclusion, respect for each other. This is what we're learning. I'm so happy also to see that we have Chief Phil Lane with us here, who I'm really hoping we get to hear from as well soon, because my goodness, it's just the richness we have here. I had the great good fortune of being on a panel together with Hazel Henderson that Rick was helping facilitate as well, and we were talking about how there can be an economics that really serves everyone. The real wealth of nations we talked about and found to be in each other, and in this notion of a kind of a sacred economy, the kind of things that that Charles Eisenstein also writes about. And that what is at the heart of this? The heart, it's respect for, awe in, participation in life, and knowing that love is that core motive and motor energy. And to get to that, it's really an economy of empathy. And this is what Lolo Lesser, who's also here with us, is very much about, is how do we engage in a framework around empathy, so we learn how to engage in this value exchange process that lifts us all up. And this is about the interbeing that Shannon talked about. And for me, this comes to the questions of interbeing, and not just interdependence. I mean, again, there's no just in this. Interdependence is where we need to recognize that this is the story of everything in relationship with each other. This is the sacred relationship. And when we get to see that, here we are. If you look, I'm looking at the screen of everyone right now. I hope you're not just looking at me, because that's boring. But I like to see the panel here, and I see everybody on the gallery here. And goodness, this is where the heart is among us. It really exists here in this interbeing that is all of us. And just to know that none of us is as smart as all of us. Yeah? And this is what we need to be lifting up all the time. So for me, this is a celebration. And I'm gonna now tootle on my flute a little bit. Hey, have you seen my flute? Look at this thing. This is a walking stick flute, right? It's a walking stick flute. So I get to go walking with my flute, and it's my friend. And it used to have a compass at the top here, and I replaced it with actually an heirloom from my grandmother on my father's side, which is a scarab in the form of a turquoise scarab. But it used to have a compass there as well, but it got burned out by the sun. So when I find myself in some place where the trees are speaking to me, or maybe it's the moon across Lake Superior, which is not happening right here in Argentina at the moment, but I will stop and sing together. So a lot of my singing is just breathing. So I invite you just to breathe here together, eyes open or closed, and enjoy. Ashe, all my relations. Thank you.
Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you. Worth waiting for, Alexander. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
David Wick is next, Rick.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay. We have so many amazing people, and we have performers coming up too. Go ahead, David.
Hello. Well, delighted to be here with everybody, and at this point of it, at this milestone day of all the things that have happened. It's just been remarkable. And just a couple things I'd like to share. One is having been with Avon Madison Pathways to Peace from the very beginning, with the 1980 and 81 and the International Day of Peace. This has been an awesome couple weeks coming to the 11 days and all that you've done over the years, Rick, and everyone who's been participating in so many different ways. But this is incredible to experience the reach now and using the technology and that has just gone, global in so many different ways and continues to be, which is just incredible. So it is evolving. We're growing. significantly. One of the things that also stood out for me this week, and some of you were part of that, was the first International Peace Education Day. And what really struck me, again, is that the peace education is essential, absolutely essential. But it's not just in the teaching of, it's in how we function, how we behave. You're teachers and learners with each other. But reaching out and going out to new places, bringing others in, raising the awareness of consciousness of peace and peace building. And to that end, one of the things I'm with Pathways to Peace, and then creating the Ashland Cultural Peace Commission based on the cultural peace. And now engaged with, I was invited to make a presentation with the Rotary E Club of World Peace. I did. I was invited to join. When I joined, I heard Lisa Broderick, her beginning of the Police to Peace program, which is moving significantly. I said, wow, that makes sense. I brought that, I wanted to connect some beads here. I brought that to Ashland, under the Ashland Cultural Peace Commission, to our police chief. I said, Ty, this looks like it really needs to happen. This is perfect for us. He said, yes. So bringing Police to Peace to Ashland, which is the first in Oregon, that developed and has grown. Others were inspired, and through Rotary, and bringing that now has gone to the Pacific Northwest and has grown and engaged in all the cities. And yesterday, this is in the newspaper, the Oregonian here in Oregon. The title, the headline is, Amid Surge in Violence, Community Leaders Unveil Portland Peace Initiative. So it's moving the police department in Portland into the community in a whole different way. So I'm just saying that the peace education form comes in many different ways as we reach out. So as we grow from here to do the reaching out, but just acknowledging what has been done. And thank you all for the years that we have been walking this pathway. And it matters. It's showing up right now. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. And you've been a real champion over the years, which with all the things that you've been doing, like you said, working with Avon and Pathways to Peace for decades and decades. And I was so happy to accompany you to China. We had our China trip. That was so wonderful. And with Deborah and anyone else on the screen here went with us? I don't know. But that was just an incredible moment. And Deborah and I had a chance to play music and do a concert in China. So that was just absolutely incredible. Are you there, Deborah? Yes. Why don't we bring you? Do you want to say a few words, Deborah? Might as well, right?
Oh, thank you so much. After you brought up that beautiful memory.
Deborah is a world-class singer and used to sing on Broadway, if I'm not mistaken, right? And we did a concert together in China.
But what you didn't say was that we were all invited to China for a program for the International Day of Peace.
Exactly.
It was a major event. And we were invited in by Friends of the United Nations.
That's correct. And Dr. Noel Brown. So this is really a pivotal moment. And I was feeling that already. But when I spoke to Monica Willard last night, and she had spent the whole day at the United Nations, she said this year feels like a turning point. And we all know it's the 40th anniversary of the original resolution. And humanity is emerging, let's hope, from a tremendous worldwide crisis. There are like many signs, but I'm seeing something in addition to what's been mentioned today. So I was very excited to hear Scott Katamis and Jim Garrison talking about the groups coming together and us moving into greater collaboration so that we're not all just working in our own silos. And I'm just delighted that the International Day of Peace has really become a vehicle for that to happen. And also many people who've spoken so far have touched on the importance of every individual. So it's not just the groups you belong to, but it's who you are and how you are evolving within yourself to become a person who radiates light and peace, not just someone who works for it, but someone who's stepping into that as part of the new paradigm. And I wanted to point out one further aspect of this that I'm kind of excited about, because I see two people who are really exemplifying bringing the issues together and highlighting the various issues. So you've all guessed it. Yes, one of those people is Rick Ulfik with the 11 Days of Global Unity, focusing on 11 different areas where humanity must learn to express our interdependence that Shannon talked about so beautifully. And they are all related, but they are all important. And we know there are 1,000 issues, but these 11 help us to see them as one. So maybe you're wondering who is the other person that I think has done a really good job in highlighting all of these different issues that come under the umbrella of peace. And that is the UN Secretary General in his 2021 message for the International Day of Peace. He says this year's International Day of Peace comes at a crisis point for all humanity. And he goes on to list all of the tremendous challenges facing the world. And he says, we need peace to accomplish any of these goals. We must choose peace, he says. And he says, peace is not a naive dream. It's a light in the darkness, guiding us to the only pathway to a better future for humanity. Let's walk the pathway of peace as if our lives depended on it, because they do. So thank you to all of you who are enjoying this wonderful celebration with the fantastic music, and all of you who have spoken have touched my heart in so many ways, and really helped me to see how every single one of us is playing a part in the greatest transformation humanity has ever seen. So thank you to Ubiquity University for not only helping bring us together with Humanity Rising, but also for educating us in a whole new way. I can see that a master's from Ubiquity is going to be like a master's from no other university, empowering people like Angelina in such beautiful ways. And thank you so much, dear Rick. It's been a joy to watch your personal evolution over the years and how much success you have had in bringing the world to an awareness of the importance of we. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to mention that there was that historic phone call in 2011. 2011 was the 30th anniversary of the UN resolution creating the International Day of Peace, and it was the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy. And for 11 Days of Global Unity in 2011, we wanted to do something special. And we were on that phone call together, you and Monica said those magic words, 11 days, and then what did you say, Monica?
11 ways.
That's it. And we realized, oh my God, let's figure out 11 ways to celebrate 11 days of global unity. And that then became the 11 campaigns. And Monica and Deborah, do you know that up to now, more than 600 organizations have taken the time to sign up under one or more of those campaigns to collaborate and work to achieve, what we're all talking about. So, Monica, you've been at the center of all of this with the International Day of Peace and the NGO committee, and then you just did this whole peace wave, live peace wave. Why don't you share some of what's on your mind now?
One of the things that I have to start out with, Rick, is you, because you have brought us together into a we. And as much as every individual makes a difference, as Deborah said, a drop of water is not as effective as a glass or an ocean. And it is a different way of connecting. And you've done that. And you've also, I just have to share this with this group because Rick's anniversary of the 10 years, the anniversary you had 3 years ago, whatever that was for, you brought us together in the chapel. And I had just come back.
I know. It was We the World. We started, I founded We the World in 1998. So
Okay.
it was the 20-year anniversary of We the World. That's what that was.
Right. I had had a weekend trip from New York to Korea. I came back on the morning of 9/11 to find that my brother had died that day. And that night, it was like, what do you do with that kind of grief and surprise on a telephone? You go to be with your team, with your friends, with the ones you love, at a little church in Lower Manhattan. And I was sitting there as we watched this amazing program. And Brandon Perdomo he said, did you see the text? And I said, he walked around the church and he said, did you see the text? And I said, what text? I'm not going to look at a text. I'm in the middle of a thing. He said, this is a text you have to see. And the UN just canceled the International Student Observance that was to happen within 2 or 3 days. I don't even remember what the length of time was, but it was a ridiculously short time. We got the same letter that the teachers got to cancel the event. And the fact that it happened, it might not have been right on, might have been the 11th or the 12th or whatever it was really close to the 11th because my brother had just died, but it was sitting in that chapel. And I looked up and saw this celebration and heard about what all the people were doing for the International Day of Peace. And that's when it hit me. The UN canceled one event and the International Day of Peace is happening, and it's happening around the world. And to be with you at a kind of double whammy time gave me a hope and courage that really got us through the International Day of Peace that year. And we tried to regain some traction. And not that I like having this on a recording, but I thought last year's International Day of Peace was an embarrassment to the UN from the Department of Global Communications. We had been on Zoom calls for a long time. It was, in my mind, fairly disastrous. This year's event was transformative. And We the World had a participant on it, and there were 20 youth. They've changed the title. It's no longer the Student Observance, it's the Youth Observance. Why we never thought of that before? I mean, this is so important. The program itself put the students in alphabetical order with the Messengers of Peace and other participants. Everything about this event was just first class and transformative. And then to move into the weekend, you can't even do a fraction of the programs that are happening. Even the ones you really, really want to see, you can't do. And so to have had this peace wave as a way of being with people, to take a minute of silence, 24 hours as it went around the globe, was, I guess we kind of thought it was going to be easy. And I have a totally new appreciation for the technical side of Zoom, putting in clips, doing this, doing that. I mean, and if anybody knows me, I hate spreadsheets. So to have to do a spreadsheet of all of the countries and the different time zones, and it was just beyond me in some ways. But it was so full of prayers. And it started every hour with a message from Pathways to Peace, with the Secretary General's message, with a call into a global silent minute. It was held around the clock. People got to share different peace projects. And it had glitches, but it was fabulous because people prayed. And when the new second resolution was done in 2001, it was proclaimed on September 7th. 2001, the International Day of Peace was September 11th. So then you've taken the 11 days. Transformative is where we are. And thank you, Rick, for holding this space, for bringing us together, for bringing the voices, the talents, the music, the intentions. And let us keep it going daily. And let us really celebrate the 40th observation of the International Day of Peace next year. Thank you. And I'm sorry I took so long.
No problem. Thank you, all of you. And
beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, it was so beautiful. Thank you, David, Deborah, and Monica. So let's go. Heidi, are you ready to go? Let's have some music. And then we will hear from other folks. And then soon after that, we'll get to Lanny, who also has music to share.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes, let's find you and spotlight you. There you are.
Hi. Yay. Thank
And-
you for that inspirational, heart-filling loveliness that we all got to just hear and experience and be a part of. And I'm in the public school system this year for the first time in 25 years. And I just got the best idea while y'all were talking. So I sent it over for a new campaign to unite all the public schools and get everybody knowing even more about the 11 days and the International Day of Peace. It was like a walking billboard around the high school. So hopefully we have a lot more youth who are empowered. And okay, so Rick, let me know. Can you hear guitar?
Yes, sounds good.
And you can hear a voice?
Yes.
How's the balance?
Your voice is a little bit low.
A little
Heidi.
low?
Yeah.
Okay, we can
Thanks.
turn that up. How's that? Is that better?
Much better. Yep.
All right, here we go. Well, y'all inspired me. In the middle of a pandemic, it hasn't been so easy to sing a song about shining and about where we're going. It's been a lot of downtrodden energy, so I appreciate the upswing. So this is in honor of all of you. How did we end up here? We're looking so confused. Whoever told you this was something you might lose? I see you sitting there. We finally found our way. You know the sun is going to shine again on you someday. And it's a long way back to where we come from. Gonna see ourselves shining in the sun. Time to look ahead to where we're going. Everything will be just fine.
And it's a long way back to where we come from. Gonna see ourselves shining in the sun. Time to look ahead to where we're going. Everything will be just fine. It's a long way back to where we come from. Gonna see ourselves shining in the sun. Time to look ahead to where we're going. Everything will be just fine. It's a long way back to where we come from. Gonna see ourselves shining in the sun. Time to look ahead to where we're going. Everything will be just fine. You gotta free your heart and shine. Yay. So thank you to all of you for freeing your hearts and shining like the beautiful lights that you are. Yay.
That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for everything and for keeping the peace alive. All of us who are keeping the peace alive. So important that we come together in community now. So,
Exactly.
super
Exactly.
blessed. Thank you.
So, in a moment, okay, thank you, Heidi. And in a moment, and maybe later, if you're up for staying up late, maybe we'll come back to you later, Heidi. Is that okay?
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, good. So, in a moment, let's go to Lanny, because Lanny is actually a neighbor of Heidi in Texas there. But before we go to Lanny, I'm just giving you a heads up, Lanny, to get your setup ready to go. But I was just thinking, a few people mentioned Chief Phil. Would you like to say a few words, Chief Phil Lane? And
Yes.
then I know you probably have a lot to say, and you've been part of 11 Days in the past, and it's great to see
Yes.
you.
And was very much part this year in terms of this wonderful prayer we had, the 24 hours there that was so beautifully unfolded. I want to really thank Humanity Rising and Rick, We the World, for all that you've been doing all these years. And there's no question whatsoever that we are now unfolding as multidimensional, universal human beings. And I'd even say it even more clearly to say multidimensional spiritual beings. This is what's happening. We know by 2030, without question, and what's going to cause this to happen, only the Creator knows. But by 2030 or before, the nation states of Mother Earth will come together and declare there'll be no more war on Mother Earth. And that's a reality. And I think that through all the beautiful words and beautiful visions and tremendous feeling I feel here of the drive and determination, it's only by us coming together with one heart and one mind and many bodies are we going to manifest what has been so long prophesied in all the spiritual traditions of Mother Earth. That calls upon us to rise to a whole new place of being, a place of being free and severed from all save the Creator, free from any past animosities, any past disagreements, because the reality is the prior unity from the very beginning of our human family, the oneness of our human family and all life, and the fact and reality of the hurt of one is the hurt of all. And the healing of one is the healing of all. And the honor of one is the honor of all. These are basic fundamental truths that we are now embracing, I think, as a human family. Because really, medical science has defined thousands of different diseases we have as human beings. But really, when we begin to understand and look deeply at it, it's only one
disease, only one foundation. That's a lack of our connection to our higher power, to our creator of all good things. That's the source of all this disease. It's not fully understanding that each of us is a sovereignty, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. That's who we are. We're born in this physical plane of time and space in that particular position. And I think we're awakening to that. Each and every one of us is sacred. Sacred beings. That's who we are. And we're born with such incredible diversity. And, you know, the last thing I want to share here is that there is our human soul, if we think about it, as we grow and develop, and I can say this at 77 winter, I'm still a young elder, that as you become older and older, and you say about an elder, they're strong, they're courageous, they're gentle and kind. All these spiritual dimensions of who we can become as a human being. Who are they, a man or a woman? They're neither. Because the soul has no ethnicity. The soul has no gender. The soul has nothing but the reflection of the oneness of our creator of all good things. And so I think that's what does Carl Jung call it? That process of becoming who we are completely, which I believe is really multidimensional, spiritual, universal beings that have the capacity to achieve all that's before us. So I've heard our young sister speak from Africa. We're facing tremendous challenges, tremendous. But that's why, Rick, you have been inspired to bring people together. Well, all of us have come together, despite we may come from different backgrounds and different situations, because we understand the soul of our soul, that this is a time that's been forecast and foretold through all the sacred prophecies and messengers from the beginning of time. The time when we truly recognize the foundation that we're really one human family. And the hurt of one is the hurt of all. So I thank you so much, so much. I'm going to just share this last thought. In 1982, we brought together elders from across Turtle Island. 40 came together, where we founded 4 worlds. And after 4 days and 4 nights of consultation, we distilled what they had to say. And what they said sounded very simple at the time. They said this universe we live in is organized according to certain natural laws. These physical and spiritual laws are inseparably connected. The physical laws are easy to understand. If I jump off a 10-story building on my head, I'm gonna get a headache. If I drink a glass of arsenic, I'm gonna get a stomachache. I go 100 miles an hour and crash into a concrete wall and get smashed up. But there's also equally at the foundation of these physical laws are the spiritual laws, the natural laws. Development comes from within. No participation, no development. What our elders define the 16 principles. And so that they said is that when we understand these natural laws, development comes from within. Others can help and assist, but it must emerge from the individual, the family, the community, you know, the nation. No vision, no development. Like our elders have told us, when the young people stop singing the old songs and there are no more dreams and vision of greatness, there is no more power. So as your vision is, so shall your power be. So as your faith is, so shall your success be. So I thank you again. I kind of get excited about these things. You know, it's been 77 years and many more before myself. And here we are at what we've been praying for right before our eyes, right within our being. And Rick and Humanity Rising, so wonderful what you've done. Hauli Chante Washtelo, Shukmano He Meado, Chidupasapa He Meado, Hauli Chante Washte. Aho.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Phil. It's great to see you. Lanny Smith, take it away.
Hi, everybody out there around the world, the third planet from the sun. This is Earthman Lanny Smith coming from San Marcos, Texas, to all your ears around the world. I'm gonna do something unique because I'm gonna share a couple of music videos with you from our outreach. And it's time to really celebrate, because when everybody's helping, caring, and sharing, love is around. And love is the key to everything that we want to accomplish. If we have love, we're going to have compassion. We have love, we're going to have empathy. We have love, we're going to have kindness. So get ready to kind of move and groove and sing along, especially when we sing out the words, love is around. So I'm going to move to sharing my screen right now. Let's see. I wasn't sure I hit the right, but hang on just a second, because I want to make sure I got the sound. Okay, back to this. And then, yes, I want to share the sound and digitize that. All right, all these new words. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Lenny. We don't see your screen yet.
Okay,
It's black. You have to click on the thumbnail that is the one that you want to be going to.
And you just don't see it. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, they changed the Zoom
One more
changed it.
time.
So once you click share sound,
Okay, we're going there. There. I'm going to click on that button right there. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we see a few different images there.
Okay, you see the screen. Well, that's beautiful. That's a great
And now,
start.
yeah, you're hovered over the make it.
All right, here we go. Everybody
That's
get
it.
ready to dance.
You
The
got
words are on in the video. You can sing along. Hopefully you can hear it. You hear it? Oh, yeah.
Yes, we hear it.
All right. All right. Hopefully it's loud enough, because it sounds very quiet here. Okay.
We hear it not loud and clear.
Listen to this message, no matter who you are, from all across the nation and underneath the stars. Somewhere deep inside you is a special song, and when you start to hear it, you will dance along. When everybody's dancing, love is around. When everybody's singing, love is around. When everybody's laughing, love is around. Love is around. Love is around. When everybody's helping, love is around. When everybody's caring, love is around. When everybody's sharing, love is around. Love is around. Life's a special journey, but let us not pretend. The future is uncertain. How will the story end? Love is right inside you. Feel it growing strong. And when you know the power, you will dance along. When everybody's dancing, love is around. When everybody's singing, love is around. When everybody's laughing, love is around. Love is around. When everybody's helping, love is around. When everybody's caring, love is around. When everybody's sharing, love is around. It's party time. Everybody dance now. Woo, woo. When everybody's dancing, love is around. When everybody's singing, love is around. When everybody's laughing, love is around. Love is around. When everybody's dancing, when everybody's singing, when everybody's laughing, love is around. When everybody's helping, when everybody's caring, when everybody's sharing, love is around. Na 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 na. Love is around. Na 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 Na, 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 na. Love is around.
Lanny, that was fabulous.
Oh, when everybody's helping, caring, and sharing, loving, singing, dancing, and laughing. Love is around. Do I have time to do one more, or do you need to move on?
Well, I was thinking maybe save the other one for near the end. How's that?
Well, let me see what's happening tonight, and one of the reasons I got to jump off, and that's fine. On my website with a lot of these music videos on it is earthman.tv, like television. I invite you to come there. But we talk about action. In July, I spent a month in New York working several strategies.
Yeah, tell that story. That's great.
Working several strategies that I had in mind that I wanted to see if I could pull off. And one of them was to connect with the late night hosts, comedy shows, Colbert, Trevor Noah, Seth Meyers, in order to present them with the idea, the seed, that it would be powerful if all the late night hosts joined together and did one night where they talked about climate change. They talked about where we're at, they talked about solutions, and then they talked about activism. And I brought over to many of them information, including Trevor Noah over at Comedy Central. And although they were out for the week, I left a beautiful poster of me and my Earth. They call me the Earthman. You'll see if you go to the site. But and a letter is explaining in detail what the concept was and why their 2 million viewers, who are mostly moderates or liberals, really needed to understand what's at stake right now and to get involved by calling their representatives as the climate bills go through Congress. Well, lo and behold, I see last week on CNN that all the comedy shows of late night are joined together, and tonight is climate night. And they're all going to be talking about climate change and solutions and laughing and crying and doing most of what I suggested to them. So all of us are making a difference. And you don't know what seed you plant that will grow into, as my friend Sue, who I know is out there, into a big blossoming tree. So I'm going to go watch the fruits of my plantings, starting with Samantha Bee in just a few minutes. So I wish you peace, and we will see you all again.
Thank you,
All right.
Lanny.
Thank you.
That was fabulous. And I'm going to mention that you were also one of the scholarship awardees for regenerative action, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I have to find out more, but it'll be one of the two, or I want to talk with Rick B and the folks
Jim.
out there and hone in on with what I'm doing.
Which one would be the best, right?
Yeah, we're going to do an all-night dance session and figure it out, Lanny.
That sounds like a plan.
Can we bring in Jim Garrison? It's a little bit late. We planned to have our little talk much earlier, but we have so many people. But since Lanny was one of the scholarship winners.
Let me see if I can wake him up.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Peace,
Okay.
everybody.
Peace, and thank you, Lanny. So while you're getting Jim,
I'm here.
Do my last.
Jim's here.
Oh, Jim's in. Okay, perfect. Are you spotlighted? Oh,
No,
here we go.
There he is.
There you go. So let me see if we can. Yes, good, perfect.
I've got you both.
There you go. So I just want to give a little, my last little music thing. In honor of our musical guests. I just love what they did, so I couldn't resist. So Jim, what do you think?
Well, I'm very struck, Rick, as I have been for the last 11 days, of the diversity and quality of the people that you're bringing together. I love the musicians. I think, you have to dance the revolution, whatever else is happening. It reminds me of that old saying from the 60s, that we lost the war, but we had all the best songs. And so we definitely have all the best songs. But just to take a moment to say that, what we're really launching here is the Global Regeneration Corps. We're in code red. We need to take in that what that means is that we're in the climate tipping point. And the implications of that are basically escalating turbulence is now no longer avoidable. We're in it. And there are a number of scientists are saying that we will actually have an extinction event by 2026. So I take Phil Lane's confidence that by 2030, the governments will have declared no more war. I think it's equally true that by 2030, civilization as we know it may no longer be around because what we're seeing all around us, even in terms of COVID, is the complete inability of our governments to ensure safety. They can't even come up with a vaccine that actually works. And we all know that. And we also know that the pandemic is probably not going to go away. So as Lester Brown says, we're actually in a race between two tipping points because things are getting better and better, as Phil so ardently believes, but things are also getting worse and worse, faster and faster. So in our view at Humanity Rising and Ubiquity University, the movement needs to understand that in this complexity between better and better and worse, it's our ability to come together to create an Indra's net, a global's network of regeneration that is going to make the critical difference in terms of whether at least a portion of us survive what is now coming. And that's a stark reality to face. But if you look around the world, it's probably the kind of ruthless realism that we need to embody in order to be focused for what actually needs to be done. And that's why we're giving scholarships away. And I want to echo what Rick Buckley said about Angelina. She's a beautiful soul. She's on the cutting edge. She's on the front lines. And whatever we can do to support the Angelinas, the Larrys of the world, the other people that are coming in for scholarships. But the more fundamental thing is that we've got to unite as a movement to build a global network of regeneration. So part of what we're doing is spawning pods of regeneration first responders. And what's available for all of you that are listening tonight is the ability to support this. There's the opportunity to donate whatever you can, however large or small, to what it is that we're doing, both in terms of Humanity Rising and We the World, and the links will be put up into the chat box. So Rick, I just want to express my deep appreciation for your mastery and tonight for your artistry, for the quality and diversity of the network that you brought to bear, and to say that we're on the front lines with all of you, seeking urgently and desperately to make the kind of difference we all need to make. The bottom line, in my view, is that as the climate shifts state with escalating lethality. The movement has to shift state with escalating intensity. And it's only if the movement comes together in a higher strategic formation around unity and regenerative activity in terms of the global ecosystem will we actually make the difference between the better and better, worse and worse, faster and faster. That's the challenge that we face in 2021, because we have about 3 to 5 years to develop it. So one of the things that's happening with the Global Regeneration Corps, we're focusing on the COP, November 1 through 12. And on November 1, as the COP takes place in Glasgow, probably the most important conference of parties in history, number 27, they've been going around for 27 years. On November 1, we're going to be declaring a 1,000-day campaign, because that's basically all we've got left, folks, is about 1,000 days before the turbulence will become so intense that the infrastructures that we've relied on for stability and normalcy will literally be blasted by nature in events that will be far worse than we've experienced through COVID. So that is what's coming. And in the face of that, if we're united, we will not only survive, but we will thrive as all the imaginal cells that we embody find each other and with unanimity do what needs to be done with an intensity proportional to the chaos. And that's the coherence we need to build. So thank you, Rick, and thank you all for a wonderful session tonight. And I turn it over to you now, Rick, for more presentations and more music.
Okay, thank you. And you know, Jim was talking about supporting what we're all doing, and I don't know, Angel, if you want to let people know again how that works, but I can give a very simple web address where people can make donations immediately, we.net/give. It's very simple. And we can, okay, there you go, Angel, you just put up the thing. So if you, Angel, do you want to explain this again?
Yes, so all of these links will still work even after the show is over. So you can still text 11 days 11DAYS to 202-858-1233 at any time. And you can use the QR code below if you're using your phone. That is also over on our Facebook page. And at any time, you can always go to we.net/give.
Perfect. Okay. That sounds good. Thank you, Angel. And let's see, who do we have? Oh, I know. Audrey, are you still on? We had Audrey Kitagawa on. I don't know if she's still on.
She's not here. We have Ben, Rick. He's probably falling asleep, but we could try him.
Ah, Ben, would you like to say a few words? I know Ben was kind of running around.
He fell asleep.
No, I know he was in the middle of some stuff. That's why he had his video off. But we have with us Janet Grace. Would you like to say a few words? You were on one of our panels. It was really wonderful.
Oh, Rick, thank you so much. And thank you, Jim. And thank you all the beautiful musicians. It's just been such a lovely gathering and such a beautiful celebration of this magnificent coming together of such glorious hearts from all over the globe. And, you know, my passionate work in the world is for every being to really know themselves as love. And as each and every one of us continues to speak up and stand up and show up for love, as love, this world is a better place. And that 1,000 days that you were talking about is an absolute, it's all happening. We are creating heaven on earth, just even in this conversation that's so luminous and so inspiring. And we know that in the beginning is the Word, and the Word is with God, and the Word is God. It also is love. And so I was honored to be asked, along with my partner Aurora in Australia. It's actually in the middle of the night in her neck of the woods. She's holding the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm holding the Northern Hemisphere for amazing, conscious, entrepreneurial female leaders on this planet to really rise up and really be more in their hearts. And so we were honored to offer our sacred conversations at the 11-day days of global unity on Women's Day. And we had so many extraordinary women joining us in that workshop, in that gathering. And we watched the faces of love glow and expand and light up with their newest realizations of who they are and how they wanted to show up even more as love. And so I'm just so truly honored, Rick, to be a part of We the World, be a partner in We the World, and to really gather with all of your beautiful, loving souls. I've just loved looking around this glorious room and seeing the faces of love in each and every one of you. And it truly is an honor to be a part of this extraordinary gathering and this extraordinary group of amazing souls on the planet. So I am truly grateful.
And we are grateful to be working with you and connecting with you. Thank you for your heart love.
Yes. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you. And I see also that Jenna is with us, and you haven't said anything all night. We would love to hear from you. Do you want to share anything? Jenna Larson. Yes? No? Maybe she's not able to join us. I thought she might, but maybe not. So how about, oh, there you are, Jenna. Do you want to say a few words? Okay, maybe we'll come back to you. What about Linda? Do you want to talk about your flags that have been such an important aspect of 11 Days of Global Unity and so many things with Peace, World Unity Week and Peace Weekend and everything?
Yeah, so yes, I haven't been able to take in everything, but I've been there as much as possible. And I've been realizing that the flags of one family, as people use them, they become wings of the heart. I had just a beautiful presence there, and it is the symbol of everything that everybody's been talking about. It's a wings of the heart, a celebration in the making, and we are all talking about a celebration, even if it's an extinction, because it's actually calling our attention to the blessing of life in the form that we're experiencing right now as humans. And even as we transition, whatever form that takes, and transition, there is a reason to celebrate. I feel so strongly about the fact that as we individually develop in our lifetime, that level of love that we have experienced and have brought into form through life, that level of love, even if we all pass and transition into another form of energy, that level of love is then even more pervasive. And who knows what that will create in its next form, if it is that if we are going into an extinction. So I feel like the flags were given to me as an image in 1984, and I have never felt so strongly about that symbol as being so appropriate for right now. We're with everything that we were just talking about all evening long. And so anyway, I don't have anything else to say. It's all in the action. And I want to just say love.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, it is all about love. And so, yes, hopefully we will have a positive outcome. Hopefully we will get through this and create what we need to create so that we have a livable future. And that's what we're all working on. Jack Strasberg, would you like to say anything? Well,
Jack's video's not there, Rick.
right. But
I've tried to open his mic, so I think
okay.
maybe we should move on.
Okay.
Wait a minute, hold it. I can open my mic, can I? Yeah.
There you go.
Right? Yeah, I had it down how it got closed again. Anyway.
Okay.
I would like to say a few things.
Good.
And one of them, I've been a peace, justice, and environmental activist for over 40 years. And I have to say that what Jim Garrison says has a lot of truth to it. I agree with him to a large extent that if the movement for a better world does not get better organized and coordinated and collaborative, we're in for some pretty rough times. We got to really realize what we're up against, that the people that kind of run things now are pretty nasty. And I don't want to go on and on about that, but I just want to, I just wanted to say that that what Jim Garrison was saying, I think we really need to pay attention to. And as a part of trying to deal with that, and I am a we member, and I work in the economic justice campaign there. And I have started a project that I think has some potential to make some significant impact on what's going on. And what that is trying to put together an alternative economy. As I saw in a webinar that Humanities Team was giving, and Steve Farrell was talking about the power. He was saying, well, a long time ago, religions were the number one power on the planet. But now, I guess the research and statistics show that business is the #1 power on the planet. And again, I pretty much agree with that. So I think we really have to start looking at how we put together this alternative economic structure. Because if you look at what's going on, it's pretty hard to miss that those who have the most influence on what goes on this planet are the ones that have the most wealth. Business is ruling pretty much this planet. And then we have to realize as well that there's a lot of us, you know? And look at the people that joined in on 11 days. Look at all the people in the Humanity Rising Network. Look at all the people in the WE Network, the Unity Earthwork Network. We have, I think, enough people and enough resources to put together an alternative economic system if, again, as Jim said, we get organized and collaborative enough to do that. And so as a part of that, the idea that I came up with, or one of the ideas, is that we really need to support and patronize businesses that are already on the ground doing it. There's quite a few out there, but nowhere near enough. But they are doing it. And there's a permaculture concept that when you try to grow something, what you do, the first thing you do is support what is working already. And so these people who are out there, we need to support them, and we need to support them in a much, much, much more focused, committed, and organized way. And we don't really do a very good job. I think all of us believe it's a good thing to support ethical, conscious businesses. And we do it when it's convenient and easy, and we think of it. But we got to go way, way beyond that. And we don't do that presently, as far as I can see. And the reason we don't do it, as I mentioned, is not because we don't want to do it, not because we don't think it's a good idea. We don't do it because it's not convenient, it's not easy. Who's who in the zoo? What businesses are really ethical? And a big one is a lot of what I need and want just plain is not out there ethically. They're just those businesses that aren't there. It's kind of like when we start alternative currencies in various places. We have a lot of people doing art kind of stuff, and massage kind of stuff, and health and things, which are all important. But there are just so many things missing, and that's why many of these alternative currencies don't work, because the things that people want and need aren't there. So we have, as a facilitator of this economic alternative project for We the World, we have some ideas of how to deal with that. And I know I don't have time to go on and on about that. So what I am going to bring up is that what happened, and I got to admit, everybody else is saying such good things about Rick. And we're saying he's brought this together, brought that together. Well, I'm going to contribute to that. When I was talking about my new economic project, Rick says, well, let's revive the store. And when he said that, about 10 tons of weight that was on my shoulders is how I get people to patronize and make it easier and more convenient was lifted. Because having an online store is perhaps, and I don't even think it's perhaps, I don't know of anything else that does, is just a frontline thing to putting together a way in which people can way, way more efficiently, conveniently, and easily patronize what's out there and create more ethical businesses. Because if people who want to start a business, and we all know people who do, if they knew, like one of my projects is to put out a lot of surveys to find out what products people will want to buy and what they will commit to buying. And if we commit to buying certain products, then people can say, oh, I've been wanting to start a business. God, I can start a business and have customers on the first day. I can make this. It's not a risk anymore. Anyway.
That's right.
So I'm about to conclude here. But the thing is, and I left in the chat box a long message, but it had at the end it has some of the addresses we can reach, and of course we.net website. If you look for the economic justice, it'll be there. And I'll put my email again in the chat. But the idea is that the We store is about to open. It's going to take a while before we get enough, a lot of vendors. So hang on there. But if we can do this in a very organized and collaborative way, we can make a difference. And what I call the We store is the loving, caring alternative to Amazon. And we know what Amazon is and how it grew. What we can do if we get focused is we can grow something similar that's ethical and conscious and cool and builds a better world. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope that we can bring this together. I really need to contact all your networks, and I will be doing that to the best of my ability, and I hope we can get this organized so that this works. All right, I'll quit.
Okay, thank you, Jack. So I'm thinking, Angel, if you want to say anything as we get ready to close, and then I'd love to hear my counterpart, Rick Buckley, maybe turn on Rick's video and maybe close us out, because we've been working together closely for 11 days. So Angel, you've been part of so many different things with We the World, with the Trends magazine, doing the production and design and layout, and working with Robert, the editor, on it and everything, and the We store. I mean, we could go through every single campaign. So any final words as we finish up from you, and then we'll go to Rick Buckley.
Yes, just real quick, to let everyone know that the Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing magazine is year-round, but we do publish it quarterly. All of that information can be found at trends.we.net. I will put that in the chat. And the store, which has not officially launched yet, but it is coming very, very soon, will be at store.we.net. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, well, thank you. You've been holding it all together as we go along, and we all appreciate you, Angel, and everything that you've been doing with us. So, Rick Buckley, what have you got to say, wrapping it all up here?
Thank you, Rick. What a delightful evening of sharing and love. I mean, just the radiation. I mean, this is a model of how communities should operate. The sharing, not only from the heart, but also from the resources that we've all been at over the years. And seems like everybody tonight is doubling down, is that we realize what Jim was saying is the time is now to actually help it all happen, and we can each do our own thing. As the Dalai Lama said, everybody has something to do, and it's to awaken everybody on the planet that everybody has something to do. And so that's what our push is. And I was thinking earlier in the broadcast about a academic astrologer that we had on Humanity Rising at the beginning of the year. And she's European, she's not American. So the date, I'm going to tell you, doesn't mean a lot to her until it happened. But she predicted January 6th was the end of an era. And as I think most people know, that's the insurrection that happened at the US Capitol building. And she did that a month before it happened. And she was talking about this darkness and chaos that we've been living through from a planetary perspective is now ending. And we're moving into a new era of building, not destroying and not creating distruth and untruth, but moving to rebuilding our institutions and rebuilding our communities and our lives. And February is when this new period started, so we're at the very, very beginning of what is the true Aquarian age. So it's not, I think we feel it in our hearts, the wave of the cosmos coming through us. And it's also the planetary change that's going on that's going to support us as we move forward with our individual actions. And as many people on Humanity Rising have said, it's time that we let go of being an individual and really realize we're part of a super organism. And when we do that, we let go of our boundary that we're different than nature, but we're part of nature. And in that realization is what Pridage was talking about this morning on Humanity Rising again. She's a Indian meditation teacher that's become a worldwide phenomenon. She said that either the real issue is we can choose to live in suffering, or we can choose to live in no suffering. And when we choose to live in no suffering, that's where the real work can start, because we're moving from a place of peace. And in that peace is connection with everything that's around us. So even though the world is full of suffering and grief and sadness, the more we can find our own no suffering place, we can help rebuild it. And so that's what all our efforts are. And I deeply appreciate working with you, Rick. It's been a joy to work with you and your team. And we're building networks like the mushroom networks that are going to, spread out through the planet and feed everybody. I mean, just like the mycelium feed the trees, we're building networks can feed all the trees on the planet. So I think there's hope if we model our lives after nature. Thank you.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you all so much. This has been incredible. I and we appreciate you, and we love you. It's all about we, right? Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Blessings abound when you're around.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.